Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second international conference on the 1972 genocide against Hutu of Burundi. Thank you so much for your participation in this event. My name is Levi Rukundo, and I will be moderating this event. This is a day we have been preparing for a long time. And the driving force and ultimate goal is to tell fellow Burundians, the entire world too, never again. Plus jamais ça. The Hutu people of Burundi have known sufferings at the hand of a Tutsi minority dominated in the government, administration, and the army in the cyclical massacres of genocide dimensions. The purpose of this historical gathering is to give opportunity to international press, in particular the United Nations press, to learn more about what happened into our country, to gain first-hand accounts from survivors and victims of human madness and brutality. It has been over 40 years now since the genocide in Burundi occurred, and it's beyond reason that only now, 43 years later, we would be asking the United Nations to recognize this tragedy. Those who were representing Burundi at the UN at that time were Tutsi. We all know that. They were on power. That was responsible of the genocide. They did all they could to avoid such recognition. In Kirundi, the national language of Burundi, what happened in 1972, as well as the year itself, has come to be known as Ikiza. The word evokes a terrible reality of gigantic proportion, a sad reality that should not be mentioned or recalled. As a matter of fact, it is believed that more than between 200,000 and 300,000 Hutu out of a total population less than 3 million were killed just because they were Hutu. We are here today to tell you that the collective primary purpose has been to break away from the position and utter in ambiguous terms the Ikiza. We know about a terrible crime that is defined in English as genocide. This is why the theme of this conference is breaking silence and uncovering the genocide against the Hutu of Burundi. But I don't want to anticipate. We have a team here that will tell us more about it. A number of speakers will analyze all facets of the Hutu genocide from its inception, its methodological and diabolical execution of aftermath. Indeed, its consequences reverberate till today, and deep wounds are yet to heal. We will also hear about Burundi genocide as seen as by the international community, and a look of failure at the United Nations to fight impunity in Burundi. It is my honor now and pleasure to introduce to you speakers. I will briefly give you their background, but first of all, we'll have a presentation by Mr. Frederic, who is there in the middle. He will tell us about the history of this collective. And then we will have Dr. Amedee Nkeshimana, who came from Europe. I will tell you a little bit about him. And later on, we will be hearing the expert on the international law. I will present to you too later when it will be his time to be talking. We do like this. After the two orators, we will pause a few for specific questions. You will ask questions, the press will ask questions, and I'm telling you there are people around the world who are following right now this conference. And what we can do now is, our hope is that the recognition by the United Nations of the Hutu Genocide will contribute to honoring the memory of hundreds and thousands of innocent victims of human barbaric cruelty, and it will enable closure and slowly lay a foundation to a long-lasting peace among sons and daughters of our beautiful country of Burundi. To also pursue in court all criminals of that genocide. And third, to build a huge memorial for all victims of that genocide. Once again, on the behalf of the collective, I thank you for your presence and appreciate your interest in human rights and in honoring the memory of victims of Hutu genocide in Burundi. To borrow from a famous speech by a great of this nation of of America, United States of America, we have a dream that one day, with your help, Burundi, Africa, and the entire world will recognize that there were organized massacres and have been targeting only the Hutu people through the post-colonial years and are nothing less than a genocide. You are welcome.
About the collective. We are a collective of Burundian survivors, victims, and families of the genocide against Hutu of 1972. We work together to contribute to the rehabilitation activities for the dignity of all innocent victims of the genocide. We do not lie in our testimonies. We're not inventing our stories. We state what we saw and experienced. We are treating our emotional wounds, looking toward a future where justice, will prevail and the infractions incurred by all victims will never be forgotten. That's who we are in the collective. Nous sommes des survivants du génocide Hutu. Nous sommes des personnes qui ont perdu des membres de la famille. Nous ne mentons pas, nous n'inventons aucune histoire. Nous disons seulement ce que nous avons vu à la maison. Nous disons ce que nous avons expérimenté dans notre vie réelle. Nous n'avons pas besoin de mentir. Nous essayons de nous soigner des blessures de plus de 40 ans. Turi abantu batoshejwe, bacitse ku icumu, babuze abantu, bacitse impunzi, bababajwe mu buryo bwinshi, turivugira ku byo twabaye, ku byo twiboneye, ku mashigi wacu, ntawe dukeneye kubeshera, kugira ku iryo shano ize umunsi urizi n'Imana idufashije, hagire n'umuntu n'umwe arihanirwa, abantu bacu nabo basubizwa agateka. The collective, you are an international collective. Because you are international in Kirundi, that means ntitwahonye twigarukireko. We are everywhere. Because you are victims, we have been sent to the whole world. And here we are. Do we have anybody from Burundi? Please stand. S'il y a quelqu'un du Burundi, levez-vous pour qu'on vous voit. OK. Vous n'êtes pas du Burundi, vous n'êtes pas venu du Burundi. Quelqu'un venu du Burundi? Oui, voilà. Someone came from another part of Africa? Quelqu'un venu d'ailleurs d'Afrique, en Afrique? Non. Quelqu'un? Nous en avons? Voilà. Stand, I'm going to call you by region or by city, not by country or by city, okay? There are people from Europe, and we do have people from Belgium. Do you have people from Belgium? Stand, please stand. We do have people from France. Please stand. I'm France. Do I forget someone from Europe that I didn't mention? Someone? Quelqu'un d'Europe que je n'ai pas mentionné? Non. Alors. Oui. We have people from, of course, USA. Please stand, people from USA. And we have people from Canada, where it started. And I'm going to go by city. Do we have people from Montreal? Yeah. Thank you. Do we have people from Quebec City? Do we have people from Sherbrooke? We have people from Ontario, Toronto. People from Ontario, Waterloo. People from Ontario, the capital, Ottawa. And people from where I live now, Gatineau. And of course, we have many supporters who are not Burundians, but who support this big cause. I want those people who support us, who are not survivors or victims, to stand as well. Thank you. The collective, what objective? Breaking silence on the 1972 Hutu genocide and requesting UN to act. That's why we're here today. In the spring and summer of 1972, the Michombero Tutsi-dominated regime arrested and executed more than 200 men and women civilians from the Hutu ethnic group. Thousands of individuals, including my dad and many of your parents, are still lying forgotten in over 500 mass graves still 3 years after. Some of these mass graves were deliberately hidden beneath the construction of public infrastructure, such as, for those who don't know, the Bujumbura International Airport is a mass grave. The Regional Institute of Agronomy and Zootechnique, URAS, l'Institut de Recherche Agronomique et Zootechnique, 3 pays, Rwanda, Congo, Burundi, pour dissimuler une fosse commune. Breaking silence is our main objective, but we have other objectives as well. Other two. One, and the next one, building a memorial for our victims in Burundi. Second, sending to tribunal at least one perpetrator of the Hutu genocide who probably may be living peacefully here in US or in Canada or maybe in Europe, in democratic countries. And why did I and my wife started these things? Just a testimony will respond. I was 11 years and in grade 5 when on May 1972 morning, the provincial school supervisor came at our school and invited all teachers to a meeting with him at the city hall. 6 teachers for 6 classes. 4 teachers were Hutu and 2 were Tutsi. My dad, Romano, Charles, and Venera Fanahas were the Hutu. Ntama Justa and another one, I don't know to remember the name, they were Tutsi. They went to a meeting. They were all invited to a meeting. Classes were dismissed for the rest of the day. Days passed, and one of the 2 Tutsi teachers, Justin Tama, came back to speak with my mother. He said that the meeting was still going on and that my father had requested that he brings him his bicycle and his new suit. Later on, the 2 Tutsi teachers will return from the meeting, but none of the 4 Hutu teachers will return. I'm the only one who started this. My wife has a testimony as well. You can come here.
Thank you very much. My name is Perpetua Evans, and I'm a victim and a survivor of this Hutu genocide of 1972 in Burundi. I was about a month or so at the time, and when the operation started, they took my father. He was called in a meeting, and they started a campaign lying to my brothers that they can bring food to my father, that he was in prison. So my mother sent my 2 elder brothers, and one of them actually was held and killed as well. The second day, they wanted the other 2 as well to bring food to my father, but they were lucky because one of people who worked there recognized them and they told them, boys, don't come back because your father is no longer. My mother decided to send the other 2 boys to my uncle who lived in the east of the country and the border with Tanzania, who was an MP there. And when they reached there, he was also taken. So the news came back to my mother, and she was in a panic. He was coming from everywhere. So and so is gone, so has disappeared. Everybody was disappearing. And if you're at work, that's it. You didn't come back, you were gone. So it was done in silence. You either called in a meeting or you're going to work and you don't come back, or they organized some other campaign of capturing people by lying to them that they should be watchers of their country on some Mai Murere who were coming to attack the country, but that was another propaganda to have them sitting somewhere so that they can come to correct them when they want. So when my mother was hearing all these news coming everywhere, every member of the family she had, somebody was being taken. She was in a big panic. What I'm going to say, probably my husband also have heard it in the first time last year. I don't talk much about this. It has given us a lot of trauma, and I know it's the same experience with most of you, all of you, and so many who are in Burundi or elsewhere. We don't talk about these traumas, and it's important that the collective was started so that we can release, and that's why we call it breaking silence. We have to speak, we have to be heard. It's a part of our healing. What my mother did, actually, she wanted to commit suicide. I was on a month.